I wanted to talk with you about your recent escapades in Huntington Beach with the city council. I think escapades is the perfect word for it. A couple weeks ago, they literally had you thrown out. The police came and dragged you out. You've been fighting for gay rights and trans rights with the city council. Huntington Beach has sort of been an epicenter for not only MAGA, but right-wing extremism in the state. I think a lot of people that live in California realize that, but a lot of people elsewhere probably do not. You have a lot of Proud Boys there. There's been literal Nazi rallies there and whatnot. So how long have you been involved in activism? Because you used to be an NFL player.
Right. Yeah. So I've been an activist, I guess, since my NFL days, back when I was speaking out for LGBTQ rights, and then I was happily retired until my city council decided to go insane and just go full hardcore right-wing nationalistic extremist, bullshit. And so they've been screwing with our library for the past 2.5 years. First they tried to ban books, then they tried to privatize it. Now they wanted to put up a plaque that said MAGA on it and an acrostic. And that was the point where I was just like, look, just keep your hands off the library. Like this is a public building. It shouldn't have any sort of political message on it. And then the other thing I want to show people is that what we're seeing in Huntington Beach is what we're seeing nationally. In that once MAGA gets control, they don't work for the betterment of their community, they work for whatever gets them more political power. And you're seeing that happening right now. Because I don't know how to tell you, but someone who knows economics knows not to put 50% tariffs on a country. Otherwise the stock market crashes.
Right.
And that's just endemic of what MAGA is about. They don't care who they hurt as long as it makes them feel good.
Right, or enriches their donor class. I think a lot of the anarcho-capitalists, which are like the Peter Thiels, the Elon Musk, they've been wanting to do this for a long time because it is a tax rebate for the rich.
Right, yeah. Well, and the other thing is that it destroys democracy because it consolidates more power into their hands. And what we have to do as people is come together and understand that we are in an existential fight for our country right now. We are in an existential fight for democracy. And if we don't show up, if we don't make our voices heard, then we might not even make it through the 2026 elections, let alone the 2028 elections. So we have to show up. We have to take to the streets, and we have to make our voices heard.
So let me ask you this. There's been a tension that exists. I think a lot of the Huntington Beach City Council pretends, I mean, they believe probably this. I think they're pretending, but I think they might believe it. Who knows? That what they're fighting for is free speech, right? They say this stuff, but they've also been banning books, not just the MAGA placard in the library, but also like banning straight up books, which is clearly not free speech. Have you been involved in any altercations regarding that?
Yeah, so I went and spoke at the city council meetings about, banning LGBTQ books, about establishing this book banning board, and what they want is freedom of speech for themselves, and then the authority to punish other speech that they don't like, which isn't freedom of speech for anyone. And what I wish they would understand is that if that's the world they want to live in, they're setting the precedent where someone can silence their speech. That's why we have the First Amendment, so everyone's voice can be heard. And the freedom for religion is also the freedom from religion. So that way no one can impose their religious views on you, no matter what you personally believe.
I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but in their minds, I think, when they say freedom of religion, it means
It means their religion.
Yeah, it means that they get to be biased against other people that they don't agree with. That's how twisted their sort of logic is.
Right, and so here's the thing. I'm not even against that, as long as you keep it to yourself. Right. If you want to do that in the comfort of your own home and you're not harming your kids, by all means, go nuts. Believe whatever you want. That's what America is about. You cannot bring it into our political system. You cannot use it to try to enforce your views on other people, because that is exactly what our founders fought against to create this country.
Right. I don't disagree. So another thing about Huntington Beach, a lot of the J6ers that were just pardoned are from Southern California. If they're not from Huntington Beach, they were participants in the weekly rallies that happened there in Huntington Beach. I filmed a lot of violence there myself in Huntington Beach during these rallies. Do you think that is going to start happening again, or do you feel like they're just getting their way so they're not going to start rallying? Like, how do you feel about what's going to happen in the next few months?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's really going to depend on what happens with our populace, what happens with these protests and people taking the streets. It's going to depend on what happens with our elected representatives, because let's not forget, at any moment the Republican Party could stop this. They could put a halt to this madness by simply doing their job. because we have a separation of powers for a reason. That's so Congress can rein in an executive branch that is running amok. Right now, Congress is abdicating their duty and it's solely on the Republican Party's shoulders. So they need to step up, do their jobs in order to prevent the type of violence that you've seen before and probably will start happening again when those people feel emboldened.
How do you feel about the Democrats that haven't really taken a stand in the way, like, for example, you have? I think this is something that needs to be discussed, right? Yep. You had Al Green, who got thrown out. Yep. He obviously took a stand, but a lot of the other Democrats are just, and many of them are actually voting yes on some of these things.
Yeah, so and that's one of the things that inspired me to actually speak up and engage with peaceful civil disobedience at my city council meeting, is that this is what I wanted to be seeing from my elected officials. I want you to disrupt the normal process of government because we do not have a normal government. We're sliding into authoritarianism and fascism, and we have to resist. So I was super heartened to see Al Green stand up and get thrown out. It sucked that no one else stood up with him. That's what we need. It was awesome to see Cory Booker filibuster for 25 plus hours. Someone else needs to do it, and then the next person, and the next person, and the next person. It's awesome to see Adam Schiff put a hold on Ed Martin because the dude's freaking insane. We need more of that. We need you to take a lesson from Mitch McConnell's playbook and gum up the workings of a fascist government while you still have the ability to do so.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep, thank you.